1337. Turn up the volume.
The People's Radio, Nevsky.
This is the People's Radio News for the week ending the 30th of July, 2952. This week's headlines have been dominated by the news that the Stanton system-based faction, known as Ninetails, has launched a widely rumored invasion of the Planet Crusaders' Cloud City, Orison. If it seems like we've been talking about the potential takeover of Orison for weeks, you'd be right. The massive operation has been in the planning stages for months. However, Ninetails' conflict with ship manufacturer Crusader Industries runs deep and goes back years. Also in Stanton, battles have broken out at the notorious Jumptown and other automated drug labs around the system. Finally, there's news of another UEE Imperial bank scandal, which has got some UEE citizens up in arms. We'll have more on that in a moment, but first, let's check in with our Stanton system correspondent, who was on the scene as the siege of Orison began.
It was a day like any other in Orison. I was talking with one of the managers at Cousin Crow's about the rumors around the city that Ninetails had compromised security ahead of what many thought would be an invasion, and then it happened. I'm here with Samado, one of the managers here at Cousin Crow's on Orison. So Sam, what has been the general vibe about the city lately?
Seems like the whole city is talking about Ninetails. Our employees are even distracted now. That feeling of unease, like everything is about to go down, is starting to hurt business.
So, who do you hold accountable for that loss of business? Crusader or the Ninetails?
To be completely honest, it doesn't really matter who is responsible. I can just say that the whole entire situation is really...
This is Special Agent Dooley with
oh my
CDF.
God, sounds like it's happening.
The Ninetails have taken over several platforms on Crusader, and the CDF is seeking for volunteers to help resecure them. Check your contract manager for details. The CDF has been activated to assist with a local emergency on the planet of Crusader. Here's the current sit-rep. A large group of armed Ninetails operatives have taken control of the restricted airspace around several Crusader platforms, using an inverter system, making it so that only their ships can fly into the area. This means a conventional assault's impossible. Instead, we're using a shuttle from a nearby station to get our people on site in order to shut down the inverter. Grab your gear and we'll send you over. Oh, and I generally advise all CDF volunteers to set the regen at the local med station in case things go bad. So I'd recommend hitting up Orison General before you come out. Thanks again.
After that alert from Rowena Dooley activating the Civil Defense Force popped up on my mode glass, I quickly made my way to the rooftop of Crusader's showroom. It was there that a makeshift triage unit was set up to care for the wounded brought off incoming shuttles. Meanwhile, people rushed past me to board the same Crusader shuttles departing from the Solenki platform. I boarded one and received the following message explaining the current situation.
Now that you're here, I wanted to get you up to speed on the operation. You're approaching a small network of platforms that Crusader uses for VIP sales. Ninetails outlaws have seized control of the air and platforms, and we need to take them back. Your first objective will be to return control of the restricted airspace back to Crusader. The Ninetails are using a device called an identity friend or foe inverter so they can bring in reinforcements while our own ships are locked out. We know that the device is being hidden in a locked storage container somewhere on the cargo barge docked to Central Platform. It seems, however, that the only person with the container's access codes is Mendo Ren, a veteran Ninetails outlaw who is in charge of this attack. Having dealt with him before, we believe that he will stay hidden until he is forced to get involved. This means that to get to Ren, you will first have to neutralize the Ninetails lieutenants he's assigned to each of the individual platforms. Once you take them out, you can get the codes from Ren and shut down the inverter. The platform you're headed to now is Solenki Platform. I'm told Crusader uses it to house VIPs that are visiting Orison. There should be a few small ships here that we have permission to use. Commandeering vehicles will be vital to us reaching the central platform, as it's disconnected from the shuttle system. I'll make sure to update you if anything changes. With your help, I have faith the CDF is going to come out on top today. Picked up additional Ninetails heading to our location, y'all. We gotta get control of the restricted airspace, so they're gonna keep sending in more reinforcements.
As the shuttle arrived at Solenki, my eyes were met with a scene of utter chaos as fierce battles raged across the once idyllic neighborhood known for housing Orison's ultra-rich elite class. It was then that I spotted a fellow journalist under fire a short distance away. When I reached him, he was in a down state, so I revived him with my Curalife med gun. Excuse me, sir, are you okay?
Yeah, I am now seen fucking Ninetails give a damn about breast badges.
On that note, we both sought cover somewhere in the urban battlescape, but somehow got split up. From my vantage point, I had an almost perfect view of what looked to be a phalanx of CDF volunteers engaging the Ninetails on the ground as anti-aircraft fire was unleashed on ships nearby. I watched wave after wave of attack and counterattack for nearly 2 hours before deciding to head back to Cloudview Center on a departing shuttle. When I arrived, I saw a group of battle-weary CDF soldiers milling about, and I interviewed one of them on their experience. Excuse me, I'm a journalist with TPR News. Is it okay if I interview you?
Yeah, I'm Roger Lohan.
What can you tell us about what went on back there?
We reported to the platform for the mission. We got to Zelensky. We searched for the lieutenant, Ninetails lieutenant that was supposedly there. Had no luck. We jumped over to the Brentwood platform, located and eliminated that lieutenant. We then found the terminals that we needed to open to turn off the IFF there. We then moved over to the Hardmore platform. We were able to successfully eliminate the lieutenant there. And looks like Ninetails are calling it quits for the moment, so we're taking a break.
Thank you for your time.
Glad to be of service. Hey, glad to help.
For the People's Radio News, I'm Fiona Haley reporting from Staunton.
While that battle took place at Orison, a battle of a different kind played out across Spectrum as another UEE Imperial banking glitch happened while the UEE was attempting to provide a stipend to citizens affected by the last incident. Instead of giving what was described as generous compensation, millions of credits appeared in citizens' bank accounts, much more than intended. Some astute citizens who suspected the large sums might be another error quickly acted and queued up at ship dealers in orderly lines to purchase the ship or vehicle of their dreams. The next day, the UEE acknowledged the hundreds of billions of United Earth credits were sent in error, and they acted to remove the millions which were still in some citizens' accounts. However, the UEE did not attempt to repossess all of the ships and vehicles bought by citizens, citing the complexity and danger involved in doing so, which led to the inevitable and predictable outrage on Spectrum. Threads with titles like, "Where's my money?" and "The UV solution is unfair," prompted many responses. Bids such as this one alleging a conspiracy appeared soon after.
You know, some of us have been watching the whole UEE banking system failures for years. I tell ya, I personally believe this error was just a cover for a redistribution of wealth to UEE insiders who had inside knowledge this was about to happen. You can see it in the patterns of trading activity just prior to the money drop. I'm telling you, it's all connected. Do your own research, bro.
Other voices called such conspiracies preposterous.
Look, I get that people are upset, but to allege the UEE is somehow so corrupt that they would pull off a bank error of this magnitude to somehow benefit their cronies is ridiculous. I can't begin to understand how people actually believe that stuff. It lacks all rationality.
Finally, ad hoc security forces clashed again with drug runners at the automated drug manufacturing facilities around Stanton, seemingly in the shadow of the siege of Orison and the banking scandal. With Crusader security forces stretched to their limit, it will be interesting to see what unfolds at Jumptown. And that is all the news worth talking about this week on Wade Centeros. From all of us here at TPR News, fly safely.